Hi, this is Vishy Datsatan, your host for Essence in Fitness video series. Two of the concepts in the introduction to Essence in Fitness were, number one, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions form the essence in every experience, including being fit. Number two, persistent problems are dynamic, and they need a dynamic process to solve instead of single static solutions most people try to use and they fail. In this video, I'm going to begin describing the pieces in a dynamic process. You recognize these pieces because you have worked with them for years. You may not have used them in the way I am describing them to you. Once the pieces come together for you, you can use them in any way you like to solve almost any dynamic process in life, including those related to fitness. On April 14, 1912, around 11:30 p.m. at night, a ship was sailing calm seas under a moonless sky without any clouds. Nothing could possibly go wrong. A lookout on deck saw an iceberg dead ahead. Alarms went off. Everyone began frantic actions to avoid direct collision. And they did. The iceberg just grazed along the ship. Direct collision was avoided. Nothing could possibly go wrong, except that most of the iceberg was below water, and this invisible part of the underwater mountain of ice cut a 300-foot gash underneath the ship. That night, the unsinkable ship that was Titanic sank. It sank not because of what the crew could see, it sank because of what they could not see. Very few of the dynamic forces in your life are visible. The depth of you is not visible. What you care about, what drives you, forces like love, security, freedom, friendship, the need to contribute, the need to belong. These are invisible forces that drive your actions. However, we rarely act. We often react in response to what is visible. The crew of Titanic reacted to the visible part of the iceberg. Their reaction didn't help them. Let me give you another example. Lance Armstrong just admitted that he had been using performance-enhancing drugs. Well, he had been using them for years and it didn't seem to matter. What changed? Once the possibility became public, he lost his medals. Once the process began, Lance Armstrong reacted to what became visible. He could now see something he had been trying to keep invisible, hidden for years. When he admitted that he had used the performance-enhancing drugs, many around the world reacted. What was the difference? What was invisible became visible. What was visible demanded direct reaction. The most dynamic part of a problem is the interaction between invisible and visible. The most reliable part of the process, the part that sank Titanic, the part that sank Lance Armstrong's career, is the invisible part of life. I gave you examples that are destructive in power, related to these invisible forces, because we often remember and recognize the misuse and the abuse of these forces. In the next video, I'll go over the constructive side of these invisible forces. And to help you see how you can use these forces in day-to-day, I'll talk about a client we call Sabrina and how she solved her cravings for sweets using what I'm talking about. See you in the next video.